We will move on to the ghost of Louis Smolka, replaced by a Kris Moutinho versus Sean O'Malley. Do we want to get into controversy of this before we do a breakdown, or?
Yeah, I think we can talk about it a little bit. There's been people up in arms, and they're wanting to point the blame to Sean O'Malley on this situation. I don't think you really can at this stage. It's not his fault that Smolka pulled out. He wants to fight. The UFC are gonna get their options. Like, guys who are coming out and saying they want to fight Sean O'Malley on Twitter doesn't mean that they're ready to fight. They have to cut weight. They have to be in shape. And, like, just because someone says it online doesn't necessarily mean that they're like ready to go. Like, with the whole, and that was proof to the pudding, is the whole Ricky Simone thing. They wanted 145 and then 135. It's just like, guys will say they're ready when they're really not ready. And all that happens behind the scenes is stuff that we'll never know. I would not be blaming Sean O'Malley for this situation at all. Not his fault. And anyone who wants to put the blame on him, I just don't see it. It's like, it's not his fault. He's like 10 days out from a fight. He's lost the fight. He just wants to fight at this stage. It's not his fault that they picked up this guy. And it's not his fault that he doesn't want to fight at 145 either. He's scheduled for 130.
It's the age old, just he's getting the rub from the UFC. He's the guy, right? That's the reason he's on this card, because he's the guy. And for the business practices the UFC have that are bad, they do make stars and they do bring people up. And if you get their rub, you get looked after. And
exactly.
the UFC want to look after him.
Exactly.
I think blaming Sean O'Malley for that is redundant. It's silly. It's a waste of time. I think personally, I'd have loved to have seen the Murad Diashili fill in.
Oh, me too.
That would have been cool.
The Cody Stamann fight.
Sean O'Malley's at, but you can't do that. And actually, it wouldn't have been fair to throw a wrestler in at short notice for O'Malley, because his camp would have been built around that. I think what's happening here is, it happened to Khabib, where they let him take a catch weight at 160 and somebody took it on. I can't remember his name. But when the UFC have you and they've got you under their rub, you get taken care of, and that's
it. Happened. The same thing happened to a certain man who was fighting in the main event as well. He had to take a short notice fight and had to take with a wrestler too, on very short notice. So, look, it's fair to say that he's getting favorable matchups from the UFC, but that's not Sean O'Malley's fault. That's his star power, and they want to build that star power. They don't want to maybe put in a guy like Maribdishvili. That's a mouthful this morning.
We're not good at names today, are we?
No, not good. It's a bad day. But, you put in a heavy wrestler like that at short notice, he's going to come in and just try and smother O'Malley. And why I would think O'Malley probably would win that fight, it would be a very potentially sticky matchup for him against a very solid wrestler. But Moutinho got the call, and he's here now. And
do you know what? He's got his opportunity, and fair play to him.
Yeah, that's it. He's going to have to take a few smacks into the face for his opportunity, and that's about it. So fair play to him. It's not his fault either. It's just the way things happen.
And it's not just about whether Sean O'Malley wins or loses. It's, you don't put him against a spoiler at this point, because you just want someone, even if he doesn't knock him out, what you actually want is someone he can look good against, not edge out a victory. So
you need Sean O'Malley just to turn up on a McGregor card, because as McGregor's timeline is here, you've got Sean O'Malley.
This is my point. My point is, there is fucking no way Sean O'Malley does not fight on a Conor McGregor card. There is no fucking way. He would have fought me, right? And by God, I'm never making 135, right? But
didn't he get pulled from the last Conor? He was supposed to be on the last McGregor card as well, and he got pulled. So I think that they did not want that to happen again.
On his Twitch stream afterwards, he was furious, right? Furious. And you can understand why, right? Now, my only point to Robbie's thing, if you don't put him to the spoiler. No, you don't put him to the spoiler. And again, this is completely not Kris Moutinho's fault whatsoever, but I even felt Louis Smolka was a pretty easy matchup for Sean O'Malley, to be honest. Too long, too powerful, too rangy, too good of a striker on the feet, right? Smolka was a highlight reel fight. To me, what you have to do with Sean O'Malley now is move him up slightly where there is a test, right? Eddie Wineland is not a test, right? Louis Smolka is not a test. Yes, cool, they're great names, brilliant names for your resume, But now you need to move O'Malley on a little bit, just a little bit, right? Not a ton, not Cody Stamann, not Merab Dvalishvili, right? Not fucking Ricky Simone.
There's a man called Marlon Vera who...
No, Jesus Christ, what the fuck's wrong with you? Jesus, fuck me. But like, you move him on a little, just a little bit, right? And then see where he is and move him on. But yeah, I mean, I think we're all picking O'Malley by whatever he wants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's, what is he? He's
2-2 in his
14
last
fights,
knocked out
13 wins and 0 losses. I think he moves to 14 wins and 0 losses.
For sure. Like the whole idea of putting him on this card against a fighter like Smolka was is that they wanted him to get an impressive win over a name. We know who we would have known Smolka. And
those 700k pay-per-view buys, get some nice new eyes on O'Malley.
Yeah. They're putting O'Malley on this card to get a finish, and they're ensuring that he gets a finish with his new opponent.